What a wild week, brother. We are back at it. Another episode of the Fastest 40 partnership with Odyssey Sports. Quick shout out before we get into all of the things show here to our partners at the Atlas Saloon. Awesome stuff they're doing up there in Excelsior Springs. Great atmosphere during Chiefs games, but great atmosphere any night of the week, really. I mean, it's like a hometown feel. They brew everything in-house. Keith Hudson is the brewmaster over there at the Atlas, doing some phenomenal things. Award-winning beers, truly, coming out of that place. My personal favorite's the Kolsch. Anytime I'm going in there, that's what I get a pint of. Gotta have it. Got to have it. So love what they're doing over there at Excelsior with the Atlas Saloon and just kind of how they tie up the community, whether it's a Chiefs Sunday or whether it's Thursday night and you got your open mic. So a lot of fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff going on over there. Trey, how are we feeling about the news run so far?
Hey man, look, the Chiefs organization has had their waders on because they're wading water, man, hot and heavy. It's coming full speed this offseason, not just with the weight of, going into a season trying to get a three-peat after a back-to-back Super Bowl win, but you got all the Rashee Rice stuff with his legal troubles. You got all the pressure to address the wide receiver room throughout the offseason. And then you got the Harrison Butker speech. So it's been hot and heavy for the Chiefs, man, but it's what keeps us alive. And look, the NFL fandom, the network, everybody, they got to have something to talk about. And they were going to talk about the Chiefs anyway, so they might as well talk about this nasty stuff. So, hey, one thing real quick on the Atlas, Thursday nights, they have beer tastings, and I will be down there tomorrow night at the Atlas for a beer tasting. If you want to come try some beers with me at the Atlas, that's an invite, baby. That's an invite.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
I'll have to, we'll see what Mila allows me to do on Thursday night. She's the boss, man.
Yeah, no, I hear you loud and clear.
But no, that there's so much happening right now, right? Like OTAs kicking off full steam. That sparked a lot of, we'll get into the nitty gritty of OTAs themselves here in a minute, but that sparked a lot of questions from the media to the NFL players, specifically about one, Harrison Butker and the speech that he gave at Benedictine College. It made waves. We really decided not to make it a topic in the last episode because of the schedule release, and that really being the focus. So, while we've had some time to really absorb what was said at that, at that graduation ceremony and take in all of the different opinions, it might be safe to say, or safe to really kind of comment on it, I guess, at this point. I like to really evaluate things before I'm ready to just jump in and take my opinion and run with it, right? I think it's always important to have an open mind when hearing things. And one of the things that I took away as the father of a daughter and as someone who was raised mostly by my mother, who was also at home, there were a lot of things from his speech that I understand his faith drives a lot of the ideology behind that. However, maybe the word choice could have been different, right? I think when you look at how hard the women worked in that graduation ceremony to get to where they were, it really, really kind of tarnishes that, when the word choice was put out the way that it was. And I know it really depends on who you are and what you believe in, on, the depth at which that impacted you personally. And so for me, I just look at it as an opportunity to say, if 25, 24 years from now, my daughter decides she's going to pursue her career, the last thing I'm going to do is remind her of being a homemaker and why that's more important. I'm going to support her for her career. And so I think that's maybe a better thing to say during a speech like that, right? These are women who are working towards the beginning of what's going to be a lifelong career. And so maybe it's more support them for that. But you could tell that Harrison Butker was passionate about what he was saying, at least.
Yeah.
And I think what he was saying about his wife in particular came from a place of love and deep belief in his faith, right?
Yep.
And at the end of the day, everyone has their own opinion on things, right? And his faith is what drove that conversation in particular. You know, do I agree 100% with what he said? No. But I understand that that's his viewpoint, and, you know, that's maybe not the one that I share, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But
100%.
that's, I think, the problem, right?
No,
Is
it is a
that not
problem. Yeah.
everyone can accept when someone else has a different viewpoint. So, you know, that's my thoughts on it off the cuff. Didn't really plan anything, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. What are your thoughts, brother?
Yeah, so I think again, to your point, you know, I think people are looking for something to be mad about and politicize, and here we are with just one more thing, and Butker's in the spotlight of being on the Chiefs, and you know, if he played for any other team, it would probably be the same story, not to just say because he plays for such a good team, that's why he's in this situation, not the situation at all. But
Right.
you know, there nobody can just hear something or read something or whatever it may be and take that with a grain of salt and move on with their day. Like people are spending way too much time on this. But to Harrison Butker's credit is that when you speak in front of a group or you have a presentation or something like that, you know this from work, and I know this from my military experience. And you speak to the group, to your audience, right? You know your audience before you present to that audience, and that audience for him was a group of people who went to a Catholic college, share the same beliefs and traditions and ideologies that he does, and so the speech for him was fitting to that crowd. And so for it to, explode out to bigger than what it was, whatever it may be, I didn't look into it. I didn't even watch the full speech because quite honestly, I don't really care. And when people blow shit like this up, it makes me care less, to be honest with you. And so, what I took away was from today was the presser after day one at OTAs, where both Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid were asked questions. Those are the only two that I saw. And really what stuck out to me was two things. One from Patrick was that it was the message that he gave back was we're team focused. I don't necessarily believe in everything that Harrison Butker has said, but that's okay because I know Harrison Butker because of his character that he shows to me every day. And so,
Yep.
one, that's the message you need from your number one leader on the team. And then two, that's going to rally everybody else to say, hey, look, this is a bigger picture. I don't really care what Harrison Butker said either. I'm here to go get another ring this year, and that's the focus. Number two, from Andy Reid, a pretty smug question was asked to Andy Reid in the presser, and he pretty much shut that down. Pretty much, I'm paraphrasing all of this, obviously, but pretty much shut down the question with, there's a lot of people in the room with Andy Reid right now that he doesn't agree with, but he still interacts with them every single day. So that's the kind of one, leadership from Patrick that I'm looking for, but two, from Andy as well. Patrick's probably got a little more constraints holding him back, a little more glass on what he's saying, whereas Andy has a little more freedom to be able to shut those things down as the ultimate leader of the Kansas City Chiefs and really show that voice, and he did today. So that's what I'm looking for. We need this team, as we already said earlier in the show, so much shit going on in the offseason. We have to dial in. When it's practice time, we got to dial in our practice time. When it's game time, it's got to be game time. Like all that other stuff that's going on has got to be shielded from the team when it's time to work. And from what we saw today in the presser, I think we're on the right path. And that makes me excited because there's got to be some worrisome in Kansas City about where we're headed with everything going on. So at the end of the day, I'm fired up with where we're at.
No, 100%. I took some time while you're articulating, your viewpoint there. And Andy Reid, this was the direct quote. He said, it doesn't say the question that was asked of him, but basically his response was, I don't think he was speaking ill of women, but he has opinions. We all respect that. I let you guys in this room and you have a lot of opinions that I don't like. Yeah. And so that's Andy Reid. Andy Reid is not a guy that likes to live in off the field banter in a press conference.
Yeah.
Right. He's going to address it quickly and wants to end it abruptly if he can. So that's like traditionally what Andy Reid is focused on. He's like, I'm here to talk football.
Yep.
I'm here to talk football. That's the whole point in why you're asking me questions. And that's the way that he typically rolls with those press conferences. So, just to put a bow on everything, right? I think there's maybe, a lack of situational awareness for Butker a little bit in the way that was perceived, just word choice. I think it comes down to word choice, right? If there was the quote that sticks out to a lot of people is that he used was diabolical lies about progressing in your career and how that's perceived as important. And that rubbed even some folks that follow the same faith as him the wrong way too. And so, I think if it came down to just tweaking the word usage just a little bit, then it would have been perceived in a totally different light, potentially.
Sure, but his message is still the same. So, it kind of, his message was his message, and there's some sore butts out there, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure. No, there are. And you just like he has the right to, I guess, his opinion and belief. The folks that are mad about it out there, like they have that right too to express that. And as long as it's, I think as long as you can like not let it fester within yourself and know that what's important to you is important to you, and you can continue to move towards that. That's the most important thing I think to take away from it, regardless of what anyone else is going to talk about. What's important to you and you move forward with it that way. And like, that's literally what Andy Reid's doing in the press conference. He's like, this is not important to me right now. What's important to me right now is getting this team ready for OTAs and seeing what kind of product we're going to put on the field this year with these guys. So, just to keep moving this thing along. And when it comes to the OTAs, they wrapped up the voluntary portion this week, right? So the only people that were absent from OTAs, even Patrick Mahomes came. I don't know, you're on Twitter a good amount like I am, right? The videos of him walking around with his dad bod kind of hanging through the shirt. Have you been seeing some of the responses on that image itself?
Yeah, there is some concern. Chiefs fans out there, that's for sure. But the man won a Super Bowl with the same body he's rocking right now. So, I don't need a quarterback that looks like, Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the late 80s, early 90s. I need a guy that's going to sling the rock and win back-to-back Super Bowls. That's what I need.
Damn right. That's all we care about.
Yeah,
here in Kansas City is collecting trophies and rings.
Yeah. There was some pretty funny memes floating around though of Patrick Mahomes
they were funny.
walking in. I was like, damn, man, getting out here getting slammed. But a lot of it, honestly, a lot of the stuff I saw was for some reason all the Cincinnati shit, like the shit from Cincinnati, if there's a bag of it, like the fan base, and it flew to Kansas City, it all ends up on my X feed for some reason. And so I'm
Your
seeing all these.
algorithm's a little screwy then.
So I'm seeing all this shit that they're posting about Patrick Mahomes, and there's a couple times I'm like, I see so much stuff. I'm like, kind of getting a little frustrated, a little hot, getting a little hot in the chair, and trying to calm myself down, and then remember to go back and watch some highlights when Cincinnati wasn't even in the playoffs. So that was nice, but so that's where I end my day.
Well, it's funny because it reminds me of, Brady. You can't say anything about what he does on the field because he freaking wins.
Yep.
And so you look to random things like for Brady when we were, he was at his peak and we were watching football as wee lads. The guy had, hair down to his shoulders, and so he gets flack for that, or,
Yep.
Images of him kissing his kids on the mouth or kissing his dad on the mouth. So people want to talk about that. It's like they're just going to pick apart anything else they can because they can't talk shit about the thing that he does best.
Look, I was that guy. I was that guy, man. I was mad at that guy, talking about his Uggs, all kinds of stuff, man.
Forgot about the Uggs. Oh, Tommy B and the Ugg boots. How did that not get brought up in his roast?
Yeah, no doubt, man. That was good, by the way. That was good.
It was a good one.
Yeah, that was needed.
So OTAs, there were a couple of people missing. Kadarius Toney was not there, which if anyone should be there, I think he definitely is one. I don't know if he's hurt or anything like that, but Chris Jones, Travis Kelce also absent from the voluntary portion of OTAs, as well as a couple other guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. There were a couple guys there who were hurt, right? Charles Omenihu made his way out there. He's recovering from his torn ACL.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Xavier Worthy was out there without a helmet, so not sure if they're just preserving him, letting him observe kind of how drills are done or what the situation is there. But it's I guess here it is. He tweaked his hamstring a little bit ago during a workout. So
good. That's good to hear.
Yeah, love it.
Great start.
Get it out of the way now. So, with that being said, all these guys kind of, some of them in recovery, some of them nursing some injuries from the end of last season. Football season's brutal.
Yeah, it is.
You put a toll on your body, get back into the swing of things. I mean, you're only 3 months removed from the Super Bowl win, and the Chiefs played the longest season that you can possibly play in the NFL, and they've done that for back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
Yep. Back-to-back seasons. No team has played more games than the Kansas City Chiefs since 2018.
Yep.
So
not even close.
Not even close. We have a full season on the next team. So, I mean, like, that's just the way it is, right? You got to ease these guys in. Yep. OTAs, the voluntary portion is wrapped. Now they're going to start bringing guys in. We're going to start seeing some more of these drills, light work, right? Helmet, T-shirt, shorts. You remember the shorts with no pockets?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Still got a couple pair.
Kids today would freak out. Where the hell you put your phone?
Yeah. Yeah, so Tate calls them snack holes because that's where he keeps all of his snacks. But, yeah, my son would freak out too.
I'm stealing that. Snack holes. I used to just call it the nugget pocket. Throw a little nugget, throw a couple nuggies in there. But no, so we got some organized team activities going full throttle. We're going to get to training camp here soon. So a lot of fun stuff as we continue to see the team develop. Training camp's always fun here in Kansas City. Make your way up to St. Joe, make a day of it. Are you going to try and catch any of the season ticket stuff going on this year?
At training camp? Are you talking about training camp?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna try.
Tate's about that age where he would appreciate it, I think.
I'm trying to go to training camp. I have a activity I got to do up there. Haven't solidified my spot yet, but I think there's a lot of opportunity during the week. I think the season ticket stuff is like Thursdays, Wednesdays, maybe Fridays. So kind of nice. Take a day off in the middle of the week, head up to St. Joe. The bad part about that for the kids, man, it's so warm up there, that time of year. So it's more of a quick 1-2 hour, maybe 3 hour trip watch some football for a little bit, just have the experience, maybe get some signatures on some foreheads or something like that, and then head back. But
sign my baby.
That's something I haven't taken advantage of since we've been season ticket members. So, yeah, I think we, really we should look as a group to go up one day and have that experience.
Yeah, take the kids out there. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yep.
That'd be a lot of fun. Last thing before we wrap the show, little quick touch base real quick on Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
Innocent?
Yeah.
Charges are being dropped. The cameraman's asking the Dallas police, don't press any charges. We haven't seen any videos. I was expecting to see a TMZ something or other come across the timeline or Twitter or something, and that hasn't happened yet. It's been a weird scenario so far. Like it's he said kind of in this scenario where there's nothing like concrete. So what are your thoughts on that?
Unfortunately, with a situation like this, a significant portion of the damage has already been done since Rashee Rice's name has already been in the news for 2 months at this point. And so when this popped off last week, a lot of people were writing him off well within, Chiefs Kingdom. I was having conversations with other fans about, is this a wrap for Rashee Rice? What's the move for the Chiefs? How do you handle a situation like this now? And so I think both within the organization and within the NFL and within the fandom, some of that damage is already done, and it's just another tarnish on his name. Unfortunately, either way, whether he was involved or not, you still put yourself in a situation to not be. You're still in the wrong place at the wrong time. And he needs to figure that out, and he needs to be more of a leader. He needs to be led first and foremost, whoever that is on the team, or if it's an outside source, I don't know what that looks like. It sounds like there is a big crowd of people outside of the Chiefs organization who are pulling for Rashee Rice. I know Ocho Cinco was saying a couple things about how he needs to get his shit lined out. A couple other old-time receivers, I can't think who it was now, that were talking about how, he's on this path here, but if he diverts to the right path, like he can have the rest of his career left, right? He's super young dude. And
23 years old.
Still time to turn this thing around, but you got to do the right things. You got to be around the right people, and you got to have some discipline and some consistency in what you do. And so I hope nothing comes of this. I hope he was in the right, but at the same time, if you're not scared shitless of your career, losing your career and going to jail at this point, then I don't know what's going to help you. So I hope he's taking this seriously, because everybody else, like we just heard in the presser and we talked about earlier, everybody else has got one focus, and that is to win another Super Bowl. And if that's not your focus, quite honestly, I don't want you on the Chiefs. And if you're going to be a cancer, that shit's going to multiply whether you're a leader or not. And if you're not on board with what we're trying to do, then we really don't need you. We just won the freaking Super Bowl last year with nothing on the offensive side of the ball. So, God bless freaking Pacheco came out of nowhere and brought the ground game. But outside of that, you still got Patrick Mahomes, but the receiving core was just freaking weak last year. And so, I don't really care who you are. If you're not on board, we don't need you. So, either get on the ship or find another one to ride.
No one person's above the team. I mean, anyone on the Chiefs will tell you that, right?
Yep.
It's not about the individual parts, but the sum of those parts. And if Rashee wants to continue to be a part of that equation, then, he has to do exactly what you said or what that veteran or Hall of Fame wide receiver said. Time to step off the path you're on and choose a new one. One that's going to keep you in the league for a good amount of time where you can make an impact and have a fruitful career and provide for your family in the future and not throw those things away, because we've seen that happen all too often with athletes where you get caught up in all these different things. Maybe you think you have to live the life you lived before professional sports, and it doesn't have to be that way. So wishing the best for him, hoping exactly what you hope for, that he was in the right, but at the same time, he's putting himself in those situations to potentially be at risk for those things. Going to a club into the wee hours of Monday morning isn't the way to stay out of trouble,
Yeah, freaking school night.
So, yeah, freaking school night, man. Bedtime's 10 o'clock. So, those are those things that the team needs to try and push that accountability this offseason so that we don't have a guy making the headlines again. Because while it gives us something to talk about on the show, as a fan, it drives me freaking crazy.
Yep, same here.
Because it is exactly that. It's an off-season distraction. It's something that's taking you away from your focus on what the ultimate goal at hand is, which for the Kansas City Chiefs, it's getting that damn three-peat. Yep. So let's see these guys push through and make it. Man, I feel like this episode was a little different than the other ones we put out. It's a little more serious.
little emotion. It's good to see.
Yeah. Well, I love talking about it, obviously, and appreciate everybody listening and sticking with us through the off season. We're going to keep putting stuff together. Hopefully, we can get some guests on as we move closer to the season and gear up for that 2024 kickoff in the first week of September. So appreciate everybody. Make sure you follow the show at Fest_40, Twitter, Instagram. We have our handles for Twitter and IG. Out on the video side of things as well, but it's at Dan_TF40 and at Treyman_LaFleur. If you want to check us out on Twitter or X and IG. Appreciate everybody. Peace.
Cheers.